When did we first meet each other?
I would say that we met in the 90s, probably at one of the like X Trials type events or X Games events. It would have been mid 90s. And then we'd see each other like here and there, like we knew each other, you know? Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until 99, I think, and we went on the Joan Soda tour where we became like friends, I think, you know, where we were like, okay. And then after that, all the Hawk tours and
Joan Soda. Yeah, I mean, that was, well, Matt was on it too. Big Island.
Honestly, I don't remember at all. I have like a few photos, and that's all I remember. I just remember we were in a RV, the Joan Soda RV, maybe?
Yeah.
And it was the first sort of skateboard bike combination tour I'd ever been on, which then would be that was all I went on for the next 5 or 6 years after.
It was interesting too, because it was not a lot of skate parks at the time, but definitely a growing interest in our sports because of X Games.
Yeah.
And I feel like we did a couple of things where we got some pretty special treatment, and at a time when no one was getting special treatment, and it was completely unexpected, and we got taken by surprise.
I know that like if there was skate parks then, bikes definitely weren't allowed at them.
Right.
So a lot of the parks, it felt like special treatment because we never would get to ride at them ever. You know, so you were like our get into skate parks free card.
Yeah.
Which was
if I have this right, I'm pretty sure we went to. I get tours mixed up, but we went to Ocean City, Maryland.
We did,
and they had a vert ramp, but we hit traffic in our Beast, and we got there as it was getting dark.
Was that to Joan Soda tour or was that a Hawk tour?
I think it was Joan Soda tour.
Okay,
and it was getting dark, and so the fire department came out with their fire trucks and lit up the ramp with their giant lights.
Oh, sick!
At the moment, I was like, this. Like, we have peaked. This is as big as it ever gets. The fire department lit up the ramp for us for a demo at night.
I vaguely remember that.
I mean, that was one thing, but...
I mean, that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I can't even get him to light up my house if it's on fire. But yeah, I felt like at that time... That was the first time, I think, because I was just mainly sort of doing bike stuff. But that was sort of the change, like, oh... It's like we're about to be on summer vacation for the next 5 or 6 years.
For as long as
as long as we can make this happen. Yeah. And so I think that was sort of and that also was like the switch of me in bike riding, because before it was just bike riding. It was me, Matt, and Thorne were the only sort of bikers that went on all those tours with you guys. And bike riding that time was, they're a lot more harsher now. And so it wasn't okay, but it was okay. Does that make sense? Like people had issues with it, like, oh, you're on tour skateboarders, you know, and
since bike dudes had a problem with you,
and it wasn't they had a problem with the skateboarders, they just had a problem with us, and I realize now it was just because they weren't invited.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was just the thing. But since I always grew up with skateboarders, it just seemed normal, right? Because when I grew up riding, it was always like Jeremy Ray and Jonas and Paul Luna, so
but
it always just seemed normal to me.
Too,
and I skated a little bit too, but there was no like, and also it was always weird to me when I would get yelled at by some dude who could like yell at me about grinding the coping at a park, and I'm like, he's doing Benihana flyouts with fingerless gloves, and I'm like, when you can get to the coping, you can complain about it. But
there was a time, and I won't name names, but we got invited to skate a private bowl, and the owner was very much like, no bikes.
Oh, hold on. But before that, we were doing, we'll just say that, we won't say who it is, but we were in the town of Bozeman, Montana, and we had this huge demo, like massive demo, like the whole state was there.
They canceled school games that day.
It was, the whole state was there. Yeah. And like, I remember, because right next to the freeway, I think, the huge hill, like everything was.
Yeah, I still have photos of it. It was absurd.
Right before the demo, they were like, no bikes can ride. And it was because this one guy helped get the skate park built, if I remember right. And he was like, no, he can't ride. And I remember, that's what I always like was.
Is it the handlebars or something? What is it that is the problem?
I think it's age. Just old age, like older.
I don't know.
But what was the argument?
It's almost always
like if you drop your bike,
right?
Does it chip the concrete?
It's always pegs.
It's always pegs, but at that point,
isn't
handlebars too.
Grinding the coping,
but whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I really just like
it is that. Yeah,
is there an actual like argument towards BMX dudes? Because I feel like if I grind a pool
on wood,
I chip the coping.
Yes.
If you grind the pool, you chip the coping.
You're 100% right. But I think
who's worse?
Skateboarding for sure.
It is, right?
Because most pegs now are plastic anyways, and they've been plastic for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
But, and the pedals are plastic and the grip, and there's nothing really that can. But I think the thing is you get some kid who goes up and does like a 3-foot air to pegs and blows it apart, which then it would be. Imagine doing like a 5-foot Madonna to your truck so instead of your tail.
Okay.
And I get it, but it's like those few people in between that would maybe damage it, you know? Which I
can tell you, as a ramp owner,
yeah.
When the pegs dig into the ramp on wood,
Oh, yeah.
it jacks it up.
Okay, I
had to ban Rick Thorne from trying inverts anymore.
because he bails and slams
Because
the
he-
butt.
Oh, he was trying like hand plants.
Hand plants, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and that's like that would make I get that.
And then he would wash out, and his peg would gouge out the ramp. And then at one point, there's just all these gouges in the same part of the ramp.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not justifying anyone blacklisting
Yeah, but
BMX.
I get it.
I'm just saying that
But
was my
that's also
experience
your
with ramp.
private ramp.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Like
Go ahead.
I mean, I also get it. If there's a DIY spot that all the skaters built and no bike helped out, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You
Sure.
know, but like this is a
public
city-owned
park.
Yeah. But anyways, then he invited you guys to go ride the bowl later. And
I didn't actually go.
Oh, you didn't? I went and I
I
skated
know
a little
you
bit.
went, and then he skated it.
Yeah.
You skated.
Yeah, I got some. Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was cool, but it was kind of like, come on.
Yeah. I still tell that story because he was in a band. And so
All right, yeah,
I've
I'm not
never
gonna-
listened to that band again.
Yeah, okay. I just saw him recently, so I'm definitely cutting this out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But there was a lot of that no bike stuff back then. And with
They're all allowed now, right?
No.
Wait, but what about scooters at the skate park?
I don't know. I don't.
With our foundation, we always would,
Yeah.
We're not allowed to make the rules for a skate park, but we'd always say it's encouraged for all
Everyone.
sports. Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I
great,
always. I thought the only thing that I didn't like at the skate park that I see videos of a little bit. I don't know if it's like my phone like knows that I want drama in my life because I really don't, but I will accidentally watch like people arguing at supermarkets and stuff. But the mums with the little kids yelling at skateboarders to get out of the way, like this is our time to use it, and I'm like, wait. It's your time to use the skate park for your toddlers.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of mums with strollers and just kids with no scooter, no skateboard, just running around.
Oh.
And they're like, and the mum's yelling at the kid for attempting to skateboard while her children, and she's like, they're gonna need a nap soon, and then when they have a nap, you can have a ride. And I was like
It's a playground.
I was like, yeah. And the craziest thing is like, this was in a park. They can go in the park, like, but it's like, but look at the pretty ramps. And I'm like, it's a skate park, and it was just the mom's face where she was like, the audacity of this skateboard kid wanting to skateboard the skate park when I clearly, obviously, have a 3-year-old that wants to run around with a strap on his back, so I follow him around like a moron. Like, it was just, and there's not one. There's several videos where I'm like, what year are we in? Because like I got mums. I know mums.
There's a slide right over there.